Hi everyone, and thanks for coming back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. We talk about money and we do it in about 10 minutes so it doesn't bore you too much. Today we are talking about Kelly Stamps, the YouTuber. She has absolutely blown up. She has so many subscribers. She's really grown quite a bit. She has a great personality. I highly recommend you check her out if you haven't already. She helped convince me for me to start my YouTube channel, and she came out with a video recently which is how she spent her $40,000 monthly income. Essentially, she makes quite a bit of money, as you can see, from YouTube. Some of it is based off of views, and then another large chunk is based off of sponsorships with ads. So I hope that you like this video. Give it a like, comment, or subscribe, or all three of them really. I already tried filming this video, but then my light failed. So this is the second time I am attempting to do it. So I'm just gonna go over how she spends her money and what I think about it. Could she maybe save a bit more? Could she maybe do better? Or what are the different ways that maybe she could fulfill her life potentially or make her life easier with this money? I will say though that I was surprised with her expenditures, and not because I think she spent a lot, but she actually spent very little. So let's start off with where she spends her money. So she spends about $2,806 on rent. So this is the amount that she's paying monthly for, I think it's a 3-bedroom house or townhouse in Florida. So it is quite expensive. It does take a huge chunk of her paychecks, but it is quite a large place as well. So I don't think that it's a horrible price. She obviously has quite a big income, so she can afford it as well. But I do think that, you know, maybe she could look to downsize if she wanted to. She could also look to move into a smaller space, which she actually does talk about the fact that she has she used to live in a studio and she wants to downsize. So I think all in all, she's doing pretty well. I'd give her a check for that. From there, she has a car, and that costs $860 a month. So previously, when she used to live in Boston, she didn't have a car. She used to just take the public transportation or walk. But now, given where she lives, she does need to have a car. This is kind of pricey, but again, it takes very little of her actual monthly income. I think she could have maybe gotten a cheaper car or maybe looked into other options as well. I kind of err on the side of caution with what I think she should do with that. Of course, at the end of the day, it's her money, it's her life. If that's what she wants to spend it on, then sure. So I'll give that a pass. Car insurance, also quite a bit. We are looking at $286. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money monthly for car insurance. So combined, you're looking at over $1,000 just for cars on a month. So I think combined that number is too high. Maybe she can look and see if she can decrease that price, do a little bit of car insurance shopping. Obviously, certain areas, certain cities do have higher or lower prices. So maybe she just lives in a really expensive place. So I think this as a whole is just quite a lot to be spending on cars. From there, we also have gas. She says that she only spends about $60, which is pretty low. So she clearly doesn't drive a lot. So she pays a lot for her cars, but she doesn't drive a lot. So, you know, the ratio in terms of the value she's getting out of it versus how much she's putting in, not quite sure it's worth it. From there, I was actually incredibly surprised about her groceries number. She spends about $60 on groceries. That is insanely low. She says that she does a lot of her own cooking, that she's made her own ramen, that she'll make rice, etc. So it is actually quite low that she's spending on groceries. It's actually kind of shockingly low, I would say. I'm surprised that it's not higher, but good on her for not giving in and doing all of that inflation with buying really, really fancy stuff. She does talk a lot about the fact that she loves Italy. So she says that there's no Italy near her, which is probably a part of the reason as to why this isn't super expensive. So there's that point too. Then for utilities, she does spend about $70, which I would say is pretty good. So I'm good on those. And then her phone is $45. So she works in this video, she actually works with Mint Mobile for a partnership, and she shows us her phone, and she mentions that she hates spending money on technology, and her phone is about 3 or 4 years old, I believe, at this point. And the home button is breaking, but she doesn't feel like she needs to upgrade it. She doesn't find a need to have a super fancy phone or the latest one, which I actually really appreciate because I'm definitely an individual who's like that as well. I'm actually kind of surprised with her phone. She shows you a picture of it or a video of it, and the home button is completely dying. But the reason I'm so confused is because she has her job is online, right? Her job is YouTube and probably Instagram as well. So she uses that phone quite a bit. So I'm surprised that she doesn't have a better one, but good on her not feeling the need to constantly upgrade her technology. She talks about her phone and also her laptop as well. So altogether, she spends, or in this case, she spends just under $4,200 monthly. The rest is saved. Now, she doesn't go into how much is her savings, how much she puts in maybe retirement accounts versus investing versus XYZ. But in general, you know, she's given us a pretty good picture. I'm not going to berate her on that. So good for her for being a young woman who's saving most of her income. She has obviously quite a high one. And then something else that she talks about is she doesn't like going out for drinks. She doesn't like spending money when she to go to a bar. She would rather have people come over to her house. So good on her for saying that. I slightly disagree. Personally, I like going out with my friends, even if it is a little bit more expensive. But she does a great job at going over minimalism. She does talk about that quite a bit, and she wants to spend money on things that she enjoys. So she talks about like Wagyu beef. She also talks about Chanel and designer clothes. I do take that with a side of caution. I err on the side of caution with that, because she says that she buys Chanel and then she sells it, and it's an investment because she bought a pair of shoes for $1,000 and then she sold it for $1,400, which is a 40% profit, which is pretty good. But you shouldn't just assume that because it's designer that you will get more money after you use it and wear it. You know, there are certain products that do elicit a little bit more investment where you'll tend to get more money back. But if you are looking to make money, you know, maybe don't necessarily look at style or fashion as the number one thing to do. Maybe look further into stocks and bonds, and this could be a little thing on the side. Obviously for Miss Kelly Stamps, she has more than enough money to be able to do that. And then something that she finishes the video off with, which I appreciate her saying this, especially as, again, a young woman in her 20s. She says, and she says it twice, don't borrow money to impress people you don't even like. And this is very important. If you get into debt, it's going to take you a long time to get out of debt. People are so busy caring about themselves that they don't care about you. You think that they do, but they don't. They're busy caring about themselves. So I really appreciate her saying that. Obviously, she has a really big following. So her giving financial advice or tips is really beneficial, and especially ones like this. You really want to make sure that with the youth, the youngin, the Gen Zs, that they are not getting themselves into debt, that they are learning from the mistakes that older people have made, that older generations have made as well. So I really appreciate her saying that. It looks like she has a really good head on her shoulders to take the time to mention that. So all in all, Miss Kelly Stamps, I give you a stamp of approval. I think you've done a wonderful job with making money, saving money, talking about money as well. Very, very financially literate. Would love to know more about the savings part of it, like what accounts does it go into? You know, maybe that's going in a little bit too deep. Obviously, it is personal, so the fact that she's giving us this information is very kind of her, and I think it's important for us to learn and to look at different people's finances and say, okay, what could I do differently? What could I do better? And also remembering that finance is personal, right? So even if you're looking at this and saying, well, you know, I think her rent's too high, Sure, maybe it is, but maybe that's something that she is comfortable paying more money on and saving on groceries because that's what brings her joy. So making sure that you're not judging her either, but understanding where she's coming from. And clearly she has a great head on her shoulders. So thanks so much for joining my video today. I'll be coming out with more of them, including Elena Taber will be coming out in the next few days as well. Please give this a like, a comment, and a subscribe. I hope to see you again in the future. Have a great rest of your day. Make good financial decisions. See you later.